or reality around flight anxiety. And this starts with you changing how you talk to yourself about flying. It's that inner voice. And this sounds kind of straightforward, but the language you use has a direct impact on your unconscious mind. And that's what we're going to explore today. So, first, I want to talk about the power of language and the unconscious mind. Yesterday, we talked about how the unconscious mind is the crew. What's really driving the process. It's your deepest level programming. Well, this unconscious mind is like a sponge. It's kind of like a small child. It absorbs everything we feed it. It's actually absorbing far more than your conscious mind is. Your conscious mind can only pull in what's like, it's getting kind of technical, but 126 bits. Your unconscious mind is pulling in 2 billion bits a day. So you want to feed your unconscious mind what it needs so that it helps with that programming. So your words and your thoughts and your beliefs are what is driving that unconscious mind. So let's feed the unconscious mind really good information, really good thoughts, really good positive things, and help to change what you're feeding your unconscious mind. So, research in the field of neurolinguistic programming talks about our internal dialogue creating the framework that we experience the world through. So when we're constantly telling ourselves that I'm terrified of flying, or I'm just not someone who can handle airplanes, you're actually reinforcing and cementing those fears into your identity. And the unconscious mind takes these statements almost like instructions, and it's reinforcing the anxiety that you're trying to overcome. That's not helpful. Okay. So, according to the NLP principles, the unconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It simply follows the dominant instruction it receives. This is exactly why we did the visualization yesterday, because our unconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It doesn't know the difference. So by visualizing every single day, you're giving it the information that it knows to do things differently. So you're going to consciously change the way you speak about flying. That helps you reprogram your unconscious mind to support a more calm, confident version of yourself when flying. Okay. This approach is supported by research that shows how positive self-talk and reframing can significantly reduce anxiety and performance in high stress situations. So this is awesome, you guys. So, how does this relate to flight anxiety? Let's look at how this dynamic plays out specifically for the flight anxiety. You might find yourself saying things like, flying is scary. I'm always in a panic in airplanes, or I'm just not made for travel. And while these thoughts might feel true in the moment, they're also keeping you stuck in a loop of anxiety. So you're self-perpetuating it. You're providing more information for the unconscious mind to follow the directive you have been playing in regards to flying. So each time you're repeating these phrases or thinking these phrases, you're deepening the program in the unconscious mind, and it accepts the reality, and it accepts it as it starts to think that it's a fixed truth and it's unchangeable. But here's the thing: what we repeat, we reinforce. Okay? That's what you're doing right now with a negative feedback loop on how you feel about flying, how your self-image, about being in panic mode, all of that kind of stuff. We want to flip the script. We want to change this. We can make it so that it works in your favor as well. So this is key, you guys. We want to shift your language and shift your experience. Okay? It starts with the languaging. It starts with how we talk to ourselves. Okay, now that you guys understand how powerful your words are, let's talk about how to reframe them, how we're going to take it and flip it. So, for example, maybe you have a belief that flying is scary. How could you change this phrase to make it more positive. Still true, but positive. What about flying is an experience that I'm learning to manage? How does that land? Okay, so this is turning it into, instead of identifying with being in panic mode and I'm not a good flyer, you're just telling your unconscious mind, I'm learning this stuff. I'm still working on learning to manage it. Also still true. Okay. Instead of I'm always in a panic on airplanes, how could you change that one? What about something like I'm developing new strategies to stay calm while flying? Also true, but not identifying with the panic anymore. Notice how both those statements are, the new statements are still realistic. They don't deny the anxiety that you might feel, but it opens the door for change. It tells your unconscious mind, we can do this differently, because you're no longer telling your unconscious mind, I'm a panic flyer. I'm not good at this. This is hard for me. And guys, you can use this in all parts of life, not just flight anxiety. Okay. So all of these statements are a signal to the unconscious mind that you're capable of growth. And this is where the real transformation begins. It begins with that self-talk, how we're talking about things to ourselves. And you guys, if you actually look up the number of thoughts that we have that go through our minds, it's like, I don't know, I want to say it's like 60,000 a day. You have 60,000 thoughts running through your mind every day, and it's the same ones over and over and over again. So we want to change those. Okay. So another crucial aspect of how you define yourself is if you're constantly saying things like, I'm an anxious flyer, that identity becomes a part of who you are. And the unconscious mind, like we talked about, works to align your behavior with your self-identity. So your self-identity is your conscious mind, right? The captain is saying, I'm a panicked flyer. I have flight anxiety. The unconscious mind is going to, come right along with all of this information that it's been given to align the behavior to support that identity. In order to break this pattern, you need to start speaking from a place of potential rather than limitation. Okay, this is kind of a big concept. I'm going to say that again. We want to speak from a place of potential or growth or the possibility of change rather than limitation, where we're putting boundaries around ourselves. We're talking in absolutes. I am a panicked flyer. That's a limitation. We don't want to speak from that space. So another example is, I'm someone who is learning to become more comfortable with flying. Or I'm someone who's mastering calmness in the air. Okay. These phrases might feel a little bit different at first, but they're setting the stage for new neural pathways to form in your brain. Okay. Your brain is not a cemented organ that doesn't change. Okay. We change through life. All our experiences give us new patterns, new identities, the way we think about things today. Look at yourself 10 years ago. Different thoughts, different ways of thinking. That's new neural pathways in your brain that are being formed. So we want to change the neural pathways by changing our thoughts and our beliefs and how we talk to ourselves. Okay. So we want to practice reframing our language. Okay. So this is the homework for today. And again, the more you put into this, the more you'll get out of it. Okay. So I want you to, this is the exercise. And I don't want you to write the first part anywhere in our group. Our group is a place of positivity and change. I don't want new images, new fears, new things to be burned in. That's all those other Facebook groups contribute to that. We'll talk about that on a different day. But I do not want you to type your negative thoughts at all into our group. Okay, that's a no-no. We do not want to do that. I don't want somebody else to pick up one of your negative beliefs or for you to pick up somebody else's negative beliefs. We don't want to give our unconscious mind more data there. So get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down all of the negative statements that you often say or think about flying. I want you to be really honest with yourself. This is for your eyes only. And I want you to write that list. I think on average, we should all have at least 5 of these statements. Okay, you get extra stars for more, but aim for 5. And if you get in that flow mode and you come up with a few more, think about the different parts of the flying, everything from booking the flight to getting on the plane, all of the different thoughts that you've had that are negative. I want you to write those down. Okay. So then what I want you to do is to rewrite each statement in a way that focuses on possibility and growth. So, for example, and you don't get to use this one in your homework, okay? Flying always makes me panic. You might reframe that one in a way that says, I'm learning to stay calm even when I feel nervous on flights. Okay, so there's an example. Okay, so now that you have all of your 5 thoughts or beliefs around flying, you go ahead on the other side and then you reframe them for yourself. Okay, if you need help reframing, show me your reframe in our group and I will help you fine tune it if you feel like you need more help. But we don't want to talk about the negative stuff in the group. And if you need to private message me, that's fine as well. Okay. Now, once you have your 5 new statements, I want you to read them out loud daily. The importance of saying things out loud, it's kind of an energetics thing. Okay. So we're all beings of energy. Everything is energy. We are all energy. And when you say things out loud, it's passing through your voice, and there's a frequency associated with that energy. Saying out loud and handwriting things are great ways to help make change. It just affects the brain more deeply. Okay. So you keep this list with you, and leading up to any flights, you can read those twice a day, 3 times a day as you need to. This becomes a tool that's in your toolbox forever. Okay. The key here is consistency. So what are we learning so far? We've learned box breathing. We've learned visualization. Now we have our empowered flight statements. Okay. The more you review these things, the more you go over them, the more success you have. Okay. All of these tools together are going to help the new beliefs to start to take root in that unconscious mind. Okay. So to wrap up for today, I want you to remember that how you talk about yourself and flying is far more than just words. It's the foundation of how your unconscious mind perceives and reacts to your environment. So very, very, very important. It's like you're talking to a little kid almost, and it's modeling the behavior. It's learning from you. So when you can start with shifting your language, you begin to shift your experience. It is a process, but every small step counts. So what I would like you to do is to post at least one of your empowering flight statements in the group. Again, please do not post the negative part of it. If you post it in there, and I'm going to have to delete it because I do not want anybody to take on new beliefs that are negative and not good. So focus in the group on what your new powerful statements are. And if you see one that you like from somebody else, you can take it and add it to your list. And then we'll have a nice big list of things that we like the way it's written, it resonates with us, and we can teach our unconscious mind to do things different. Okay. So with that, you guys have your homework. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the group, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a fabulous day.